I'm really excited to be here today because we are going to talk about balance. And over the next 3 weeks, we are going to continue to talk about balance. So there's 3 different areas of balance that I want to go over with you guys, so I decided to split it out into 3 weeks. The 3 different balance items that we're going to talk about are physical balance, mental balance, and emotional balance, because I think they're all very, very important. The first one I want to talk to you about is physical balance, because in my opinion, that is something that we all need to work on. But most people think of your core as your stomach and not your back. So it's very often that you find people that have a bad back or a sore back, or they throw out their back because we're not strengthening those muscles as well. So we're only working on strengthening part of our core instead of the whole thing. So today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through 3 different exercises with you guys that will help you strengthen your core and work on a few different areas versus just doing sit-ups every day and hoping that works.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to teach you how to do is called a plank. And there are several different ways to do this depending on your level of advancement. So there's a beginner, there's an intermediate, there's advanced, and there's several different variations that you can adjust so that it's working what you need it to.
This is a normal plank, you guys. This is not a plank, put your butt down, and this is not a plank, put your butt up. There is a happy medium to where you need to be. Now, if this is too much, you can come here. Be on your elbows in a plank, and it takes a little bit of the strain off your wrists. And if you really need to, you guys, you can be here, but lift your feet up so that you're not just kind of dragging. Lift your feet up and lift your butt up and hold this until you can get to the point where you can come up onto your toes.
Okay. What I want you to know about a plank is that you can hold that for 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even longer once you get really good, twice a day, and that's going to be really good for your core. If you want to take it up a notch even further, I want you to go up into a plank, and I want you to lift one of your legs up. But make sure you keep it even and lift the other one up and hold as well. And if that's too easy for you, I want you to lift up a leg, and then I want you to lift up the opposite arm so that you're really having to balance. And again, make sure you even switch to the other arm and the other leg. Okay, guys, the next exercise I want you to try is called a V-sit. And there's, again, several different ways to do this, so I will try to show you all of them, and I will try to do it very quickly. A V-sit literally means you're putting your body in a V. So you're sitting kind of like, your butt bone. You're sitting almost behind that. So you're almost like finding where that bony spot on your butt is and then moving back a little bit so you're not quite right on that bone. And then all you're going to do is, as a beginner, you're going to lean back a little bit, and then you're going to take your knees up. You're going to keep your knees bent at a 90, bring your knees up. Now, the closer you are, the easier it is. So what you're going to do is, once you get to here and you feel comfortable, you're going to back up. And you're going to put your legs out a little farther, and a little farther, and a little farther, and a little farther. And you should get to a point where you can feel this shaking and then hold on to that for a minute. So once you get there and you can feel this and it's shaking, you're going to hold that for as long as you can, and then you're going to come back up. Okay? If you want this to be even harder, so obviously the harder you want it to be, the farther out you're going to go. But if you want it to be even harder, you can take your legs up into a straight position. So instead of being bent at a 90, you're actually going to straighten them. And you can start holding on to them and then slowly let go. And then you're going to move out and out and out and out. And again, you're going to go to a spot where you're going to feel it shaking, and you're going to hold on to that. You're going to hold on to that as long as you can before you come back up. I would recommend going for at least 20 seconds, as far out as you can the first time, and then going from there. And you guys, that's just going to work on a couple different muscles, and it's going to give you a few variations that are better than sit-ups to work on your core. So once you're down here, you can start out by keeping your arms on the ground, and you're just going to lift up your legs. And you're going to lift them up, and maybe you can only get them to here, and that's okay. But you want to get your thigh as much off the ground as you can. And then you're just going to hang out. You can even hang out down here. I won't do that because you can't hear me. But you're going to hang out here until you can't, and then you're going to put them down. And then you're going to lift up your arms. and you're going to hang out here until you can't, and you're going to put it down. And then you're going to lift up your right leg and your left arm. And then you're going to switch and do the other ones. And then once you get really good, you're going to lift up everything at the same time as high as you can get it off the ground. So you're going to lift up, and this is what a Superman is. And so you want to keep everything up here and hold it and hold it and hold it until you can't, and then come down. And then, once you get really good and you want to push even harder, you're going to come up, and you're going to flutter, and you're going to do that for as long as you can before you come back down.
All right, you guys, that's all there is to it. Thanks for hanging out with me on Monday again, and good luck getting your core work done. I can't wait for next week until I get to talk to you guys about mental balance, because it's real. See ya.